Good morning, everybody. This is Steve Fletcher with the Trumpet for My People. Today's January 2nd, 2020. Wow, okay. It's hard to remember at the beginning of a year that we're in a new year, huh? I was about to say 2019, but we're in 2020. So, I'm sharing with you about January 3rd, 2020. But before we get to January 3rd, the Lord is giving us understanding. I'm going to bring information to you right now that's going to bring extreme clarity as to where we are, as to what happens next. I cannot tell you yet if this next piece of understanding is the last piece. I'm not sure. I think at this point we're going to have to wait and take one step at a time. But today is going to bring extreme clarity, okay? So let's go to Daniel chapter 9, and let me begin to explain to you. And I'm going to give you understanding from the Word of God directly as to where we are today. Daniel chapter 9. In the first year of Darius, the son of Ahasuerus, of the seed of the Medes, which was made king over the realm of the Chaldeans, in the first year of his reign, I, Daniel, understood by books the number of the years whereof the word of the Lord came to Jeremiah the prophet, that he would accomplish 70 years in the desolations of Jerusalem. So we're in Daniel chapter 9. Before Daniel receives his own prophecy of 70 years in the future that will be accomplished, he first understands the 70 years that were already written by the book, by the prophet Jeremiah. He could understand by the books. Okay, so what the Lord is giving us to understand here is that Daniel understood the timing when Israel was to leave Babylon, when the desolations of Jerusalem were accomplished. After 70 years in Babylon, he understood by the books that there were 70 years. Okay? And so once the 70 years were over, he knew it was now time to, for the desolations of Jerusalem to be accomplished. Okay. This is a background and a basis for our understanding how we can see today and know today where we are. Daniel understood by the books. We can understand by the books, okay? The prophecies were written for a reason. They were written to give us understanding. Daniel was able to understand by the books of Jeremiah. And we are able to understand by the books of Daniel, okay? In the same chapter, in the same chapter, Daniel goes on to say in verse 24, 70 weeks are determined upon thy people and upon thy holy city to finish the transgression, to make an end of sins, to make reconciliation for iniquity, and to bring in everlasting righteousness, and to seal up the vision and the prophecy, and to anoint the most holy. Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and build Jerusalem. And I'm going to end there because that is the beginning of the 70 years. 70 weeks are determined. Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and build Jerusalem. Okay, so Daniel is now talking about, he understood the prophecy of Jeremiah, but in the same chapter, the Lord gives him a prophecy about the future of another 70, It's another 70. The same way he understood the first 70 is the way we can understand the second 70, So, 70 weeks are determined from the order to restore Jerusalem. We see that in 1949, after Israel's independence in 1948, they finally established their government in Jerusalem, From the order to restore Jerusalem. Jerusalem is officially restored on December 26, 1949. The Lord knows that we need understanding, we need confirmation as to where we are, as to what we are watching. And so at the 70-year marker on the Gregorian calendar, which is where I am, and this is the understanding that I need, and we are in Hanukkah, and it's 70 years to the day, December 26th, 2019. So 70 years to the day from the order to restore Jerusalem, and Jerusalem's cabinet being established. There is this amazing sign in the heavens. It's the menorah of God within an annular solar eclipse. 7 planets, and the annular solar eclipse is the master candle within the 7. This is an amazing, undeniable, perfect sign of God in the heavens that the 70 years of Daniel are coming to an end. Jesus is about to return to be in the midst of the churches again. He is the Lord and Master of the churches. So this was December 26th, 2019. But if we look at the Hebrew calendar, December 26th, 1949 is the 6th of Tevet, 5710. And if we go to the 6th of Tevet, 70 years later, it actually brings us to January 3rd, 2020. January 3rd, 2020. Let's continue on into chapter 10. Daniel 9 does not end the book. The 70 years are explained in chapter 9, but chapter 10 goes on. And this is why we can't know yet if we have fully arrived. I can say with absolute assurance that January 3rd is the end of the 70 years. I think the signs are clear that January 3rd is the end of the 70 years. And we continue on in Daniel chapter 10, and we're going to see something that it lines up perfectly. The understanding is clear, So let's read on, and I will explain to you what what we are seeing. Daniel chapter 10. In the 3rd year of Cyrus, king of Persia, a thing was revealed unto Daniel, whose name was called Belteshazzar. Okay? The first thing that I wanted to explain to you is that President Trump has been compared to King Cyrus, okay? President Trump has been compared, number 45. The fact that Cyrus allowed the restoration of Jerusalem. Cyrus turned out to be a friend of Jerusalem, helped Israel to return from Babylon to Jerusalem, okay? And so ever since Donald Trump entered into the presidency, he's been compared. He's been compared by people in the prophetic world, and he's also been compared by Israel itself, that Trump is our new Cyrus, okay? And so right now we are still in the 3rd year of Donald Trump. Okay, this is another, within this understanding, we can see how all of these things line up. We're still in the 3rd year of Donald Trump. They're in an election year, but his 4th year does not begin until January 21st or January 20th, okay? But when the time, when Daniel received this vision, Cyrus was in his 3rd year, okay? And Trump is in his 3rd year right now, okay? So I wanted to say that. Let's continue. In the 3rd year of Cyrus, king of Persia, a thing was revealed unto Daniel, whose name was called Belteshazzar. And the thing was true, but the time appointed was long, and he understood the thing and had understanding of the vision. In those days, I, Daniel, was mourning 3 full weeks. I ate no pleasant bread, neither came flesh nor wine in my mouth, neither did I anoint myself at all, till 3 whole weeks were fulfilled. And in the 24th day of the 1st month, okay, in the 24th day of the 1st month. Okay, so Daniel chapter 9 brings us to the end of the 70 years. Daniel chapter 10 starts in the 3rd year of King Cyrus. It starts with 3 weeks of fasting and mourning. And the 3 weeks end on the 24th day of the 1st month. Okay? So if the 3 weeks end on the 24th day of the 1st month, then the 3 weeks begin on the 3rd day of the 1st month. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see how we are receiving our understanding? January 3rd, 2020, the 3rd day of the 1st month, plus a 21-day delay and a battle, taking us to the 24th day of the 1st month. I think this is the understanding that we are receiving. Number 1, the 70 years of Israel are ending based on the restoration of Jerusalem on 6 Tevet 5780. That is 70 years to the day on the Hebrew calendar, January 3rd, 2020. Directly after Daniel chapter 9, it's the 21-day delay. It's exactly, okay. You read the end of Daniel 9 and you continue on and you see that after the 70 years, there's a 21-day delay. So it looks to me like it's the 70 years plus 21 days. Now we could go on and read, and I have the text here. Then I lifted mine eyes up and looked, and behold, a certain man clothed in linen, whose loins were girded with fine gold of Uphaz. His body was like the beryl, and his face as the appearance of lightning, his eyes as lamps of fire, his arms and his feet like in color to polished brass. The voice of his words like the voice of a multitude. It sounds like the brightness of his coming. I, Daniel, alone saw the vision. For the men that were with me saw not the vision, but a great quaking fell upon them, so that they fled to hide themselves. And if we go on up until verse 14, it makes it clear that it says, now I am come to make thee understand what shall befall thy people in the latter days. For yet the vision is for many days. Okay, so God is making it clear to Daniel that everything I'm showing you is for the end times. Okay? So Daniel is revealing what is going to happen in the end times. Okay, this is how we are able to understand, based on the books, where we are. Okay, so this is a summary of what I see and where we are right now. This is a summary. Jerusalem restored December 26, 1949, their first cabinet meeting in Jerusalem after they received independence in 1948. It was not until December 26, 1949 that they had their first cabinet meeting in Jerusalem, okay? December 26, 1949, on the Hebrew calendar was 6 Tevet 5710. If we go 70 years on the Hebrew calendar to 6 Tevet 5780, it brings us to January 3rd, 2020. Okay? The 70 years of Daniel end on January 3rd, 2020, based on all of this information that I'm sharing with you. And then Daniel 10 continues a 21-day battle to the 24th day of the first month. And everything lines up perfectly now with the understanding of the Hebrew calendar bringing us to January 3rd. And based on the Gregorian calendar, it's the third day of the first month plus a 21-day battle bringing us to the 24th day of the first month, January 24th, 2020. Okay. I have seen already. Why do I need to wait for tomorrow to end and have there be another great disappointment if I'm already seeing ahead of time tomorrow is true, it's a true sign, it's true understanding, but it's not yet the end? And so if I'm seeing this ahead of time, why am I going to wait until January 4th to share this with you? I'm seeing it today, so I'm sharing it with you today to give you understanding that tomorrow is not yet the end. Okay, today and tonight is not yet the end. There's a 21-day battle. So, as I shared with you, there's, how many signs do we need? The Leviathan is rising from the sea. I even shared connections with you from the rise of Leviathan in Israel and the day counts going back to Barack Obama's first meeting with Benjamin Netanyahu in the White House, connecting us by 3,888 days, 3,882 days to Leviathan. Okay? So each and every video is giving us a piece of the puzzle. And that is why I do the videos in short, concise pieces of information, because each piece of information stands in and of itself, and it's just, I think it's easier to digest for everybody if they're in short segments. Then you can take one thing and you can pray about it, you can consider it, you can see how powerful, how true the signs are. Okay? And so I think that the 70 years of Daniel ends on January 3rd, 2020. That's Daniel chapter 9. Daniel chapter 10 continues, and I think it gives us a clear understanding. The 24th day of the first month, meaning January 24th, 2020. Like I said, we don't know yet if that is where it's going to end. We have to wait. We have to, what we do know is that from January 3rd to January 24th, it looks to me like this is the true 21-day delay that is an extreme battle. And the battle is with the king of Persia, the prince of Persia. And right now we've got the battle ensuing between Iran and the United States, Iran and Israel, especially after the attack on the United States Embassy. I mean, there's an extreme battle ready to be waged. So I think that this is just a time for us to understand we need to armor up. We need to be prepared for battle. We need to pray more. We need to fast more. We need to humble ourselves more. We need to just be more spiritually in tuned. Okay? And, let's not get distracted by the holidays. And, there's so much happening right now. A lot of people think that, there's a time off. We can take a time off for the holidays. This isn't really a job where I get to take time off for the holidays. I mean, there's so much happening. The people need to understand what is going on. So I don't get a vacation from biblical prophecy, because this is part of the reason why many of the people of God are not going to be ready, because it's like, okay, well, I've been watching prophecy all year, and what if the flight is in winter and on a Sabbath, and we see that within the midst of the feasts, I will turn your feasts into mourning, because all the major signs came when nobody was watching. I mean, December 31st, listen guys, December 31st, 2019, Israel announces they are opening their natural gas platform named Leviathan. I searched on YouTube and I couldn't find one other watch person that shared about that. Not one other watch person at all shared about Israel opening Leviathan. Leviathan is the dragon from the sea. It's the sea serpent. It's the beast from the sea rising. It also means mourning, having to do with I will turn your feasts into mourning. December 31st, New Year's Eve. I will turn your feasts into mourning by them opening Leviathan on New Year's Eve. Yeah, I mean, there's so many things we could share about that. I shared with you the scriptures about Leviathan. I gave biblical understanding. I shared with you about day connections, how we can see that Barack Obama is the beast from the sea. I connected it back to his first meeting with Benjamin Netanyahu in the White House. But just in and of itself, the fact that Israel opened Leviathan on December 31st and nobody's talking about it, gives us an understanding that even amongst the watch people, almost everybody's fallen asleep because of the feasting. And so I don't know. I didn't get a vacation from this. Okay. And we don't compare ourselves to others, but we each have our own account to give. Okay. And I know that right now we are so close. I can't step away. I can't. There's too much happening. The time of his coming is too close. Okay? And I'm not hunkering down to prepare for another complete year here. I don't see that at all. I don't see that. I see we are so close. So, anyway, these are some of the things I wanted to share with you today. And the clearest thing I can share with you is that it seems to me that from January 3rd to the 24th day of the first month, January 24th, 2020, there's a 21-day battle, and that gives us our indication of our own mindset, where we need to be prepared spiritually to handle what is just ahead, okay? And I think that this is going to be upon the people of God to step up. For the people of God to step up. Get into your armor and battle. Pray more and fast more and seek the face of God. Okay? All right. I pray you guys are all blessed today. This is Steve Fletcher with a trumpet for my people. The sign of his coming revealed.